Hello, today we are doing solving simultaneous linear equations with two unknown. So for the first point I want to make is we have two unknown in an equation. So if you look at that example, we have 4a, so a is a variable, minus 3b, so b is also a variable. So in one equation you have got two unknown. Then we are going to solve that simultaneously, which means we always have two equations. Okay? And that's why we like to label them. Okay? 1 and 2. So you will always have two equations, which we will solve at the same time. Simultaneous simply means at the same time. Now today's video is about the elimination method. There is another method called the substitution method. Please watch the videos on the substitution method as well. Right, when we use the elimination method is when we have one of the variables with the same coefficient. Okay, so if we look at this one, then 3b is one is negative, the other one is positive, but the coefficient is the same. So if that is the case, then we use the elimination method. And elimination, people, simply means to get rid of. Okay, and we are going to get rid of one of the variables. And that we will do by adding or subtracting the two equations, 1 and 2. That is how we're going to eliminate. So if the variable, the coefficient of one of the variables is the same, then we're going to either add or subtract the one equation. So we're going to add or subtract the like terms from the other one. What you need to remember is that we want to get rid of one of these variables. So if you look at the -3 and you would add a +3, then that will give you 0. Okay, so in this case, you have to add the two equations. Okay, so if you put into your calculator -3 plus a +3, then it will give you 0. And with that, people, we have eliminated, or we got rid of b. It's now gone. Okay, and that is the aim that we have, is to get rid of one of the variables. But now we must do still the addition of all the other terms. So 4a plus 7a gives me 11a. b we have now eliminated. And then we got the equal sign. On the right hand side, we've got -23 plus 1, which gives me -22. And if you look at what you have now, you've got a simple linear equation with only one variable, only a, which means we can now solve for a by using the common rule, which I have now used a lot. Gr10 is o. Okay, so we're going to move the 11 to that side. It is multiplied here, so we need to divide it on the right hand side, meaning that on the left we've got a left over, and on the right we've got -22 divided by 11 gives me a value of -2. So now we have already got a value for a. But remember that solving means you must find number values for both variables. So we have got a now. That means we must still find b. Now we take one of the two equations. It makes no difference which one you use. I'm going to use equation 2. 7a plus 3b equals 1. Okay, that's equation 2. And I am now going to simply substitute the -2 into the place of a. So that will then become 7. Substitute the a with -2, okay, plus 3b equals 1. And now once again, people, we have got only b, only variable, which means now we can calculate b by using Goro's OO. So 7 times -2 is -14. We take that over to that side, it becomes +14. So then we have removed that. On the left, we've got 3b remaining. On the right, we've got 1 plus 14, which is 15. Now we must still move the 3. It's multiplied here. So on the right-hand side, we must divide that, which means on the left, I've got b left over, and on the right, I've got 15 divided by 3, which gives me an answer of 5. Okay, so I've got a value number for A and I've got a value number for B, which means I have now solved these two equations with the two unknown simultaneously or at the same time. Lastly, you can do your check. And for the check, I am now going to use equation 1. So equation 1 is 4a minus 3b equals -23. In the next step, we're going to substitute a. So a is -2, put that in there. Then minus 3, substitute b with 5. So that's 5, okay. Then we have 4 times -2 is -8. And -3 times 5 is -15. And -8 minus 15 is -23. And on the right-hand side, you were given -23. So now you know that both of your values A and B are correct. So once again, you can do a check to actually make sure that your calculations are correct. Okay, I want to just go through quickly again. What are the steps that we have done? So number 1 is we found that one of the variables has the same coefficient. Okay, so B has the same coefficient. Because it has the same coefficient, we are going to use the elimination method. Okay. Then step 2, you are going to either add or subtract the two equations from each other. And the plus or the minus is determined, people, by the signs of the variable that you've got. So if you have -3 plus +3, then it gives you 0. And this is what you want to have. If you would subtract this, people, -3 minus 3, then you will get -6b. With that, you did not eliminate that. Okay? So remember, the plus and the minus is determined. If this coefficient that is the same has opposite signs, then you add. If they have the same sign, so both are positive or both are negative, then you would actually subtract. And you would do that with the whole equation. Okay? So that is then the next step, is to actually add and subtract like terms. Add or subtract like terms, which then eliminates, gets rid of one of the variables. Right, and from here on end, you can just simply solve it by doing Goro is OO, okay? Use to solve the equation. Then in the next step, you take any one of the equations and you're going to substitute the value of the variable that you have calculated, okay? Substitute value, you have calculated. that is the next step. And with that, again, you will find a linear equation with only one variable, which means then you go on solving by Goro is or. And with that, you will find a number value for your second variable. Lastly, you can do the check just to make sure that you have calculated correctly.